All right, folks, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking real music in real time for a few people out here, just like you there and just like me here. So, two interviews in one day for me. I've got another very interesting artist who sent me their CD. Here it is. I really love the packaging here. It's very basic and but it's well done. I like the interior part of it as well. That's Tom Folden there sitting in front of a very nice looking churchy building. Could be an abbey of some kind. I'm not sure. But in any event, this is Tom's album and it's called Soul Healer. And I have Tom here. Tom, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you? I'm glad to be with you.
Yeah. So this is a pretty interesting work. How would you categorize the style of this? I'm just curious, like what your take is.
It's, that's, I've pondered that in my mind myself. I have so many influences that I guess it's drawn from since I was a kid. Um, Anything from rock to new wave to 80s, 90s. Don't really go past 90s, but
You're like
uh,
you're like me. You just kind of
yeah,
stop, right?
yeah. Listening to you for so long, I feel like we have very much the same musical
Taste.
preferences.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I guess it's kind of I try to be sort of I don't try to really be any one style,
Right.
but I think there's some 80s in there, there's
Yeah.
some 90s in there.
Hmm.
One of my great vocal influences, or artist influence, was David Bowie. I was a
Okay.
big David Bowie fan. So, but I grew up, and when I grew up, I had an older brother who had a friend who introduced him to a bunch of music, and it was like rock, Queen, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the Eagles, Supertramp. A lot of it was very varied. So, but as I grew older, in high school, I grew up in the 80s and the 70s and 80s. New wave music came on, and I was really into that. I like the Police, the Cars, the Pretenders, a lot of bands that start with the, and and then just a lot of new wave stuff, but a lot of 80s.
Yep.
There's like a window from late 70s to early 80s that had a lot of music that was just really cool, sort of garage indie kind of style,
Yep.
and I was drawn to that. Didn't really get into anything beyond pop, but
Hmm.
there's a little bit of pop, I guess, in it.
Yep.
But I try not to make it too, poppy, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll give you a few of the things that I thought I heard in this. I definitely heard the Cars on
Okay,
a couple of songs.
okay, cool.
I heard a band that people may or may not know called the Red Rockers on
Oh
one
yeah,
particular track.
China.
Um, REM, I heard some REM in there.
Yes,
I heard some Michael Card. Okay, I don't know if you know who
Mike.
he is.
Uh, is he a Christian artist?
He is. He
Okay,
is.
I've heard of him. I don't think I've heard his stuff though.
Yeah. But I mean there's little references here or there.
Yeah,
And it is it's almost like 80s underground kind of a flavor to it. And
yes,
it's almost, I mean, each song has its own personality, but there are some things that kind of keep like popping up and coming to the forefront. What you do have is a real good knack of uniqueness to these tracks. Typically I go, this song kind of sounds like this other song, like that's my brain the way it works.
yeah,
But I there's not one track on here where I go, he's kind of ripping off so and so. It's not like, I mean, stylistically, like I said, there's one song that kind of reminds me of a song by the Cars, "You Are the Girl," um, and I think that was the pro life song, which is a
okay,
really powerful message that you have on here. And basically, I would say this is a good uh, Christian, theologically sound just keeping to the word of God kind of album throughout, which I appreciate a lot. And it's about as anti Christian mainstream as you can be, I would say, listening to it, which again, I like all kinds of music. So I appreciate things that are a bit off the beaten track and are self-produced. I'm assuming you wrote all the songs on Soul Healer,
Yes, I did.
and you play a lot on it, obviously, but there are other musicians that you want to play. I like the drums on several of the songs. They really kind of pop out and they kind of surprise me a little bit.
Oh, good. Yeah. The way I did this is I track, I record at home in my little bedroom studio. I track here, and I got hooked up with a drummer, engineer, recording engineer, a mixer. He happened to play the drums, and so I just had him do all the drums. So I would send him the tracks, um, of mostly guitar, bass, and whatever else, and he would just put drums to it.
Yeah.
And he did all the drums except for one song, and then and then he did a on Soul Healer, the song Soul Healer. He did a percussion thing, and then there's just one other musician, my good friend Rob Amberry. He plays a guitar solo on um, on one of the songs. If I Put My Trust in You, that
Yeah.
song. And yeah, but for the most part, I did all the instruments, guitars, acoustics, bass, and I did a little harmonica thing
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. There, although I was forgot the Dylan-ish song. It's that was a very
Oh,
Dylan-esque kind of thing. I thought it was, but what
okay,
do I know,
yeah,
right?
yeah, died for me.
Yeah.
And what I
So
did, what
go
I did
ahead.
with
Sorry.
that, sorry, what I did with that one on harmonica, I actually did two harmonica parts. So one's like a harmony of a harmonica, and then one's a main harmonica. So
Yeah, that's way above my pay grade, but
it
it's
was different for me. I just kind of walked into it and I thought this would be cool. So,
so were you have you ever recorded before this, or is this the first time doing it?
oh no, no, yeah, I have I've done three albums under a different name. I have a it's not a band, but I go by 100 Aces. It's kind of like my musical project. And I've done three albums under that name, and one's a synth pop album, so it's all synth pop. I was
Yep.
really influenced by synth pop in the early days. Um, but I have two other albums that are kind of the same style as Soul Healer. And then I've got some other EPs that I've done and I'm still working on. And then I have just a slew of songs I'm trying to get recorded now, but this is can
Cool.
be overwhelming.
Yeah. Now is it all Christian music or is it secular music or what is it?
Yeah, I guess you would call it secular. It's
Yeah.
not like worldly secular.
Hmm.
I don't ever do sex, drugs, and rock and roll in any of my
No
lyrical content.
surprise.
Yeah, I know. I try to stay away. I do stay away from all that stuff. I try
Yeah.
to just talk about life issues and uh, things people can relate
Really
to.
too. Right.
But yeah, I wouldn't call it like worldly, but I guess it is secular. It's
Now, I'm assuming, you are you part of a church or do you part of a worship team or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I have a church. I go to a church, and then there's another church that I do worship for every once in a while. They call me to do worship, and so in fact, I'm doing it tomorrow night. So
Cool. Very
yeah,
cool. So you're definitely plugged in. How long have you been a Christian?
you know what? I grew up in a Christian home,
Yeah.
and at the early age of 5, I accepted Christ into my heart, and it was we went to church since I was born, and I had kind of grown up till 5. I'd been hearing all about Jesus, and I knew what it was about. And I told my dad I wanted to become a Christian. So he took me in his room and talked to me and made sure I understood what I was doing, and I prayed and I became a Christian. And I haven't always, of course, I haven't always walked that straight line,
Hmm.
but we fall off the path, but
Yep.
we get back on, and I just know Jesus is faithful, and he's got a lot of grace, and that's
Yeah, we need it.
that's a good thing because you know I haven't
Yeah.
always been you know the Christian he's has planned for me to be, but
Well, we all fall short, Tom.
we
It's
fall and we
not
get up and we keep going. Yeah,
right. We all fall short. Bible says that we all fall short, and there are none righteous, not one. So we we make it on not our own merits, but obviously on the finished work of Christ on the cross, that's the actual good news. When people say, "What's the good news?" and I say, "Well, it's not me. I'm not the good news. I'm just telling other people about this." And for those of you who aren't, it's not about being good, because nobody's going to be righteous and perfect. I mean, you try to be good, but it doesn't always work out, right?
but being good doesn't get you to heaven.
100%. Yeah.
It's calling on the Lord to ha making him the savior of your life and
Hmm.
you know walking with
100%.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, where was this cool picture taken? I love the church architecture behind you there. That's just really
Yeah,
cool.
that's San Gabriel mission. That's a mission that's here in Southern California. I think the city is Arcadia or San Gabriel, one of those cities. But it's an old mission and pretty cool
Yeah, it adds a lot
background.
of character on the inside of it. I mean, um, a lot obviously people don't buy CDs anymore,
Right, right,
but when I got this, I was just like, yeah, this is a cool little package, and it's to the point, and the music itself is very to the point, very matter of fact, but very interesting. And I think people would really benefit listening to this. If you don't like cookie cutter sounding Christian music, and I go
right,
back and forth on it. Some days I like it, some days I get tired of it.
right.
And I go back and forth between the music I grew up listening to.
Yeah,
I don't immerse myself. I probably should listen to Christian music more, but I tend to like things that are different. And so this is definitely in that
right.
category. And I think people would enjoy it. Now, you told me, well, before we started, you said that you can go listen to this on some platforms.
Yeah.
How would people go find this if they wanted to?
I think probably the easiest one is CD Baby, cdbaby.com. iTunes is probably has it. All the streaming, the usual streaming uh, sites. I think Spotify is one. Um, I'm not sure of them all, but CD
Yeah.
Baby is the
Okay.
probably the most
So
trustworthy one.
yes, would be cdbaby, I guess, .com on that. And
Yes.
they're still out there. I remember when they used to sell CDs, but they kind of got out of that, huh?
Yeah, well, I have my other CDs on there too, and I sent them actual hard copies. You send them like five of them, and then they sell them from there. But they just got too overloaded with inventory, and they just put out a notice saying we're not taking any more CDs. We're going to throw these CDs away, and we're just going to do digital from here on. So
Wow.
I thought everybody was just doing only digital. Maybe just some select sites have hard copies. I'm sure there are. So
Now, if someone wanted a hard copy, they can get a hold of you maybe directly.
yeah, yeah. If you wanted to, should I just give my email address?
I guess if if you're comfortable with it, I don't want you to get inundated. I mean, obviously you can block
Yeah,
people and stuff if they don't treat you. I mean,
true.
I know all about that, but if you want, it's up to you.
Yeah. I don't mind. Um, I don't have a website up yet. I I need to do that, but if you want to go to Spencer Group at hotmail.com and just put in the subject line something to the effect of, soul healer
Yep.
request or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, you did great. We just wanted to, I figured
Thanks.
you reached out to me and I was like, hey, why don't you just come on and we'll talk about the album? Because I like to promote people who are sort of on the outside. I mean, I get to interview some uh, big names or whatever, but
Right.
honestly, you're somebody that I'd like people to know about, and you know, you're obviously very, very talented and very musical. This is a very interesting collection of songs, and I would say it's very biblical. It makes, and what I was doing after a while, Tom, was I was starting to sing some of these, and I don't
Oh, really?
typically do that because I'm the guy from the '80s that would not know any of the lyrics to half the songs, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I mean, you know how you
Same
fake
here.
it, you sing and you pretend you're singing the song. That was
Right.
me." So
Yeah.
I was picking up some of this, and the
Oh,
lyric
good.
sheets are not included. So
Right. Maybe I'll do that on the next one. Include the lyrics.
yeah, well, either that or I don't know. You don't have to, but anyway, I hope people will check out Tom Folden, Folden, and the album Soul Healer. It is, I believe, also on Spotify too. I think I found it on Spotify.
Okay,
So,
cool. Yeah.
if you wanted to just listen to it and hear all of this '80s new wave garage mashup goodness, it's over there to listen to. Tom, thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Dave, and I really appreciate your channel and what you're doing.